Welcome to another episode of Pixels and Points. I am Matt Nelson, the media director here at Red Rock, and with me, as always, is...
I am Susie Brown, media buyer, planner extraordinaire here at Red Rock.
All right, and today we have a really simple little article trying to stay away from all the AI.
We're going back to basics. We're going traditional.
AI everywhere. Now, what we have is a simple article from one of my favorite, one of my usual go-tos for YouTube channel kind of content as well. It's cord cutters, and what they were talking about is legacy broadcast giants in a free fall.
Yep.
NBC have lost more than 77% of their market share, and this is from their high in like the 70s or something like that.
Exactly. This is a little bit of a scare tactic headline, but I mean the 70% is a big number, but they're just reiterating the fact that broadcast share, right, their market share, I mean they've been losing year over year after year, which is not a surprise, and the 77% loss, they said, is over the past several decades. So think like kind of since, what do my kids say, the 20th century, or they tell me I was born in the 1900s. So from way back in those 1900s. But really, when you look at it, it was in 1950s to 1970s, like the golden age of television. Those four stations, well, Fox wasn't even around yet. Those three stations had 90% market share, which makes sense. It was the only option, right? And then, of course, I feel like I'm doing a history lesson. And then, of course, then there was color TV, then there was cable. But yeah, there's been so many different ways to access the programming with more networks coming on. And of course, all the options with cable and then tech, right? With TikTok, YouTube, all the streamers, all their viewership is just eroded, right? Which makes sense.
Yeah. And it's like one of the comments on this article was, back in my day, there was only 4 channels. And if the president was on, you were screwed. And I'm like, yeah. Nowadays, I don't even know if the president's on TV or not. If they were breaking in to do a live stream, I wouldn't even know it.
Right. And the expectation isn't there. Like people would be mad if they did preempt some programming, because there is a C-SPAN. You can always go watch that kind of programming on.
How many times do you remember watching when you were younger, when it was the broadcast stations and they'd break in the middle of the broadcast to, talk about the weather or some major what's going on?
The O.J. Simpson chase, I will always remember, was on my sister's birthday. So we stayed home and watched.
You're not going to see anybody if you're watching Disney Plus break into your Disney Plus movie and go like breaking news. Like it's just not gonna. They don't have
It's where does that viewership go? If there is breaking news, everyone tunes in. Usually, cable news is going to have that constant ticker, or they're going to go to social, which I think is just such an interesting shift about how many people are getting their news from YouTube and TikTok and Facebook, and maybe not the most reputable places to be getting news, but it's become an avenue where all that market share is going.
They just did a big test of all the emergency, texting from all of the different services up where I live. So they just did that like this week. And then so that's how they communicate with people. They aren't going to do it through the TV. And I'm sure they break in all the time on the TV. It's just you're not going to see that on streaming.
Exactly. Back in our day, now I sound like the old lady, that it was the emergency broadcast system, and you would get the beep and the break in, and it would come over the TV. And if you're home from school that day, right, you would see it. And now it's on your phone.
Yeah. In the fall from all these stations is, it's primarily because, for years we were getting these stations, and then everybody was buying cable, and then everybody was whining about cable, going like, I don't want all these stations. I just want my one station. So they finally did that. And so now you can just buy your Disney Plus or just this content from this one place or with this other. The problem is that it's gotten so expensive. You have to buy everything you want. You're going to be paying more than you ever did for cable. But
exactly.
So
And they're
everybody's
saying that the share is not just going to streaming, or we were talking a little bit about this. It's so fragmented with so many options for streaming, so many options to sell it, so many options to access it, so many options to buy the media for it, that although so much of that share goes to streaming, no one entity is making up that revenue. So it's almost like breaking up a monopoly. These top 4 stations had a piece of it. Now they're all scrambling to make their deals about, is Paramount going to buy this company? Is Hulu going to merge with Disney? And ESPN comes into the mix, and it's how are they going to group these conglomerates back together to be able to be profitable again?
Yeah. And I mean, the other question is it's for advertisers like us. I mean, the days of being able to buy, just go to your television radio station and you're going to hit I'm going to switch off of the article because I'm tired of that ad coming on distracting. The days just being able to buy that kind of content for your branding is gone. And so, I mean, I'm not saying that you don't want to buy broadcast television stuff, because
right, it's always going to be a tool, but not the only
is all the live sports that it still has.
That's what I was about to say. But it's the same with streaming. It's what we preach everywhere, that, where those eyeballs are is really based on the content. And even in the streaming world where they say don't touch content, that's how you want to target. You want to be able to buy those live events. That is the new sit down. What else is there besides Super Bowl? A big concert, but that's going to get everyone to sit down and talk about it. It's not the Thursday night primetime shows anymore.
It's not, because everybody wants to go to the streaming for all of that. And the big battle is these broadcasters are trying to keep those live sports, but everybody's buying them. Everybody's bidding for it,
Mm-hmm.
And Amazon Prime buying, Monday Night Football.
Yep. And Netflix and Paramount Plus was running some games, and then they're starting those negotiations. That's why it's such high stakes, right? It's more than just who's going to air this game and who can access it. It's who has control moving forward of this content, right? Of this market share at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's just and I know the government doesn't want broadcast stations to go away, because that's the one way to be able to get your message out, like we were saying earlier. If we
they're going to have to work with the cell phone providers.
I mean, if we lose internet, the only thing I have in my house is the broadcast over the air entertainment stuff. Like, that's the only thing we have. You lose internet, you don't have streaming, you don't have any of that. And I'm talking about like your cell phone internet too. Like, you don't have all that. The only way you're going to get information is from the broadcast television stations. So,
yep.
I mean, forecasting into the future, like we were kind of talking about this before the video, is just like, what are these stations going to do? Is it just like all of them are going to be bought up into one kind of broadcast station, and they're all going to be broadcast from one station? I
think you're right. It's gonna be like the BBC. We're gonna have one, everybody gets together, but you're starting to see some of those mergers. And I know there's all this talk here locally about 2 big networks merging together and how that's going to affect. And they say the news will be separate and everything's going to stay separate, but eventually, where is it all going to go? And I know there's lawsuits and all kinds of, red tape to get these things done. If the deals are getting done, that's the direction we're going, I think, is you're going to have 1 or 2 big players in a market instead of 4, or back in the day when you had 5 or even 6.
Or some of these even just collapse, and you're just going to have one, instead of having 4 like different stations on the TV, you're going to have 2 stations or 1 station, and that 1 station is going to be just like, okay, these are the best programs from all the different networks.
Right. We're running our NBC lineup tonight, our CBS lineup tonight.
Yeah,
here's our Paramount Plus
shows for CBS today. This one is this day, and then this one is this day. And then you have one local news. And I mean, the more you get rid of all these other local newses and you get to one, I think you'll have more of the, at least here in Austin, we have what we have the community impact effect.
Oh, exactly. The community news.
Yeah,
the real grassroots news.
Still have community news. And what happened is in most major metro areas, like all the major newspapers died out because they're too big and they were trying too much to do too many things. And as they died, the other ones, like a local community impact, a local smaller newspaper that's free, is going to be the one that people are going to be reading more of because it comes out and it actually has to do with their community. So,
right,
I mean,
it's the content people care about.
I kind of see news where, I mean, it may just be one local news station in a major market. So,
yep. And I think the ones that adopt, like we were talking about community impact on the broadcast side, the local mentality, right? There's some, local affiliates that or they are forced to all run the same national news. So I think those stations aren't going to survive in this environment because they're not going to get the ratings because everyone's got CNN, you've got Fox News, you've got a million options.
Yeah, and the way I see it happening is in the local news area is where you might not have your local news anymore. You might move over into, like the podcast territory where
that's what I was going to say. Or it's you have your Twitter feed, check our live, or X, I should say, or TikTok account.
Like a local news podcast kind of a thing where it's not produced by the station. It's produced by somebody in the community that's doing like the news, like they're doing a
community news. Yeah.
And that station picks it up and actually broadcasts it. And then when your ratings start to flag, they pick up somebody else that's doing the news. And they're like, they're just going to they might just completely divest themselves of running the news altogether.
That's make it completely like community based or like user initiated type of thing. Cause like I said, people are going to social for their news. It's almost like a conversation. That's an interesting thought.
And with this whole DRM encryption for ATSC3, which is the next broadcasting standard, which is going to be even crazier because you're going to be able to actually eventually you should be able to watch the broadcast TV over the air on your phone.
Right. For free. Right.
Free, just over the air. It'll come to your phone. And but it'll be able to communicate back to the stations who you are and where you're watching from, so they can customize.
And they'll have the power again. Yep, exactly. You'll be able to do some attribution, right? They'll be able to have the data in their hands. So that'll be a tide that'll change everything if they use it the right way.
I don't think that's going to save them from the downhill.
It's a life raft if they grab it, I guess.
But it is a life raft that might be able to keep them afloat not in their current form. There's still going to be contractions, but I mean, in the 20 years from now, I mean, I don't think broadcast television is going away. I just think it's going to be completely
going
different.
To change. Yeah.
Look completely different in 20 years from where it is right now. So
just like 20 years from today, 20 years ago, it really did look completely different.
All right. So that's it for me.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching.
See you guys next time.